Yungblud recently completed his IDOLS album rollout, dropping IDOLS 2, a 7-song extension to the original IDOLS tracklist. This now results in IDOLS Complete. This album speaks on subjects like self-identity, self-worth, speaking on how we should become the idols of our own life rather than giving that title to someone else. He speaks on growing up and losing childhood dreams, things like wanting to be a hero or a rock star, but pushing those dreams aside as we grow up. Masculinity and emotional vulnerability is a common subject, speaking on how men tend to cope with their pain and expectations. He brings up fame and public perception, as well as the chaos in life and his personal change. This album was beyond what I could have expected, and I wanted to do a deep dive into it and break it down, explaining it in the best way that I can from a track-to-track basis as well as an overall story. With that being said, I'm Buddy Kig, and today's video is the complete story of IDOLS by Yungblud explained. Before we get into it, if you could leave a like on this video as well as subscribing, it would mean the world to me. It's greatly appreciated, and it helps out way more than you would imagine. Okay, enough yap. Let's get to it. Hello Heaven Hello is such a powerful introduction to this album and this era. This is a 9-minute track and undoubtedly one of the best songs in his entire career. This song goes through so much progression. It's beautiful, it's heavy, it's all about leaving a former version of yourself behind, finding a new you and embracing that feeling. He repeats hello, hello, hello as a way to welcome his newfound self. It's beautiful in the way you can relate individually, as well as how you can see it for Yungblud himself, as he's saying goodbye to this box he was put into as a young rock star, and now really channeling a new version of himself musically, as this album feels so much more mature compared to his previous work, so much more thought out. This was the first track I heard for this album rollout, and I will never forget how genuinely impressed I was hearing what he did here. He opens the song questioning if you, a new version of yourself, are out there, if you're just waiting for the right moment to find yourself, if you're there or not. He asks if this version of himself is still scared of not knowing who he truly is, or if he's still afraid of dying like his past self is. His vocals become so passionate and powerful, where he feels like he might not be able to make it to this version of himself he longs for. He acknowledges that even if the scenarios he creates for himself aren't real, they are still how he feels. This is one of my favorite lyrics on this track. In the refrain, he repeats hello once more, still trying to find himself, before we get into part 2 of this track, Heaven. The instrumental punches you in the face. The guitar, the drums, it all comes in, and his vocals are so impressive here. He mentions that since he was a little kid, he devised a windmill getaway. This means that from a young age, he created an imaginary mental sanctuary to escape traumas and emotional pain. He questions himself, asking if he is going to live the rest of his life till he dies with these lies bullies and haters have forced him to believe. He tries to motivate himself by saying he is going to stand on what he said. He will be what he is and not let those lies dictate his life. A very common theme throughout this album. He slanders himself with names like little boy, stupid boy, little freak, etc. He mentions the fool is the last one to jump off the edge. It's a play on words of the phrase fools leap where angels fear to tread. He says the one who waits to jump is truly the fool, showing he is different. He is a risk taker, true to himself, and this leap he takes will let him become the artist and person he wants to be. The chorus is incredible, where he says he's one step into heaven. He's got a foot in the door and he is becoming who he's supposed to be with more room to grow. He speaks on how he's always able to express himself and not hold back emotionally like some might want him to. He re-mentions if he wants to die with these lies forced upon him, or if he wants to swim through the storm of what needs to be done to overcome these feelings, which is a beautiful expression. This song has such an incredible build and progression. The second half is insane. The instrumental is so good. The instruments used are great. You can hear entire orchestras come in during this heavy guitar and drum pattern. With Yungblud's insane vocals, it's just a banger. The song has a great guitar solo, and the instrumental fades out. A new one with an acoustic guitar and other beautiful strings come in for part 3, Hello. He says there is a chance he won't see someone tomorrow, this being to those around him as well as to himself, striving to push forward and become who he wants to be, because you never know what can happen. He speaks on all the hopes and dreams he claims to have borrowed, meaning ideas he always had and goals he had set that might not truly be in his path for this new version of himself. He's leaving them to somebody new, a new version of himself. It is a powerful outro and an absolute peak song. Brilliant way to start out this album. IDOLS Part 1 is a song that speaks on the dangers of worshipping an idol itself. Growing up and seeing the reality of the world, finding yourself, and it introduces the story of IDOLS properly, as Hello Heaven Hello feels like a prelude to this true intro to the story. The instrumental on this track is gorgeous, very laid back, and beautiful strings throughout. He opens the track speaking on how gender isn't as rigid or simple as it used to be. Boys are now girls, and girls are now boys. Be what and who you want to be. He says their mothers hide under the covers, showing that the older generation turns a blind eye to their children and their identities. They ignore their children's choices as they might be uncomfortable with them. The end of this verse has him saying you've made them believe, showing they have come around to this new generation and their ability to not be afraid to show who and what they want to truly be. They've taken a big step and the world has taken notice of sexual preferences and self-recognition. He questions whatever happened to rivals, this likely meaning that rivalries used to be more direct. People would push each other to be better, and there was a clear opposition. He's questioning where that type of passion and conflict went. Although I do got many ops. Him asking what happened to you and me sounds very personal, as if he's talking about a relationship or a friendship, or maybe even his past self, that has now lost its spark. The pre-chorus basically shows him wondering why relationships and rivalries that once defined who we are have taken a backseat in this generation when they could be used to motivate us and complete us. The chorus to this track is sung so beautifully, and the strings really fit it so well. He says we're living like idols if we want to be. This shows being an idol isn't just about fame, it's about choosing to live bold and being yourself, without society making you someone else. The line flying through obstacles of emancipated dreams is so deep, speaking on freedom, chasing dreams, the breakaway from rules or restrictions, even with roadblocks ahead. Him saying, "'Cause everyone knows I need you," shows a very vulnerable side to him. It shows that even when he tries to be independent and on his own, he relies on someone else for their strength and support. The chorus is all about two people living freely, chasing dreams and becoming their own idols, while still depending on one another throughout it. In the second verse, Yungblud says he wears too much makeup to see. It isn't just literal makeup, but symbolizes hiding behind an image or a persona. He suggests that he wears a mask to please others in the public, to the point where he can't even recognize himself anymore. "You broke all of the mirrors in me" shows self-reflection and identity. It shows that someone, whether that's a lover, friend, society, or even critics, damaged his self-esteem and ability to understand who he is. "All of the lovers trap me in the covers so I can't breathe" shows a relationship feels suffocating, rather than loving. He is stuck in cycles of intimacy that make him feel trapped. So beautifully strangled to sleep is a very powerful contradiction, where just because something may look romantic from the outside doesn't mean it is internally. It can destroy you from within even if it looks great on the outside. This overall verse is about the dark side of image, fame, and relationships. Trying to live up to these expectations can make you lose yourself or feel suffocated. The song repeats the pre-chorus and chorus before we get one of the most brain-soothing transitions I've ever heard into track 3, Lovesick Lullaby. This song is an absolute banger and in a league of its own on this track list vibes-wise. As much of a banger this is, it is very deep, speaking on feeling emotionally lost and frustrated in a relationship and craving that feeling of happiness once again. The song builds up before the instrumental absolutely explodes. The first verse shows Yungblud speaking on how it takes a couple of hours for him to get his day started. He said he isn't going through a breakup, but it can feel that way for some reason sometimes, which is an extremely relatable lyric as some days just hit harder than others. He says he wants to keep it professional, get straight to business, and be serious because his mind is telling him things he doesn't want to express. He ends the verse by telling someone they look nice on the outside, this being the way they look, and offers to take them out for the night, which he comes back to later in the song. The chorus to this song is so sick. No pun intended. In it, he states that he wants to feel good emotions in this lovesick lullaby. The title, Lovesick Lullaby, is a play on words. Lovesick being heartbreak, obsession, emotional confusion, while lullaby is something calm, soothing, sweet. This tells us he wants a relationship to bring him peace instead of pain and turmoil. In the second verse, he opens it with a witty little line about how he went out with this girl, but he figures he should have gone out with her friends instead, showing this girl wasn't his type or had problems. He claims he always chooses the wrong people, that leads him to spiraling and feeling like he has issues or goes crazy. Relatable. He says he goes in a daydream, escaping reality to justify his feelings, even if he knows they might not be logical. He imagines a reality where his choices are wrong, but somehow are validated. This shows love can make people rationalize things they normally wouldn't. The writing here is so good, he ends the verse once more stating they look cool and offers to go out with them. The bridge on this song sounds so good, a true highlight to this entire track for me. It slowly builds up before dropping into a chaotic, energetic verse where he states he bought weed just to try to impress the people he was around, stating they didn't like it so he kept it all to himself, smoking it all. He says he went back to the man's house where he was told a story that changed his life and perception on things, this being the story of a lovesick lullaby. Truly, full circle. He repeats hashman, showing he was likely high during this interaction, ending the song saying he wants to feel good emotions on this lovesick lullaby. One of the best songs on this entire album, seriously. Now we have arrived undoubtedly to the greatest song he's ever made, at least in my opinion. Zombie. This song is brilliant, even receiving Grammy nomination status. This song speaks on feeling emotionally numb and feeling the pressures of having to feel alive. He has gone on to say that the opening to this song is what first came to him when writing. He pictured his grandma saying this to express herself. He says if he were to talk about what was said in the conversation, it would hurt, bringing back old emotions from that moment. He says if he was asked about the pain, he would lie, hiding how he truly feels, how unhappy he is, back to that whole mask thing. He ends the opening verse by saying he needs more time to fix his mind and find happiness, but time is running out. Time is a big theme throughout this album as well. It is a haunting metaphor for one life coming to an end before turning into this zombie, as well as the thoughts of wanting to end your own life. The chorus on the song is so peak. He says he cannot live without someone, this being a lover, a friend, and maybe even family. Him saying the world will keep turning if you do hits so hard. It has two meanings. The first being even if he dies, the world will keep moving on without him. The world will keep turning. Turning, as in turning into a zombie. Oh my god. Such good writing. A zombie is often depicted as ugly, rotting. He questions if you'd even want him if he looked like a zombie when he's at his worst. Would we stick around be there and love him through it all regardless. In the second verse, he says that they catch a spaceship to the moon, this being him and a lover. He says it would crash because they wouldn't last, showing his troubles with this relationship. He suggests that people blindly accept the way the world is without questioning it. He feels like others are numb to real problems. He speaks on one praying for resolve. They're almost there. Yungblud says he doesn't know what he will turn out to be, but you'll love every moment by his side regardless, ending the song continuing the question of would you even want me, looking like a zombie. Genuinely one of the best written songs I've heard in some time. Definitely his best song, in my opinion. The Greatest Parade is a song about embracing who you are and celebrating others who refuse to live by a stereotype put on them. This song has such a fun vibe to it. He opens the first verse by describing the pain of trusting someone who builds you up but ends up betraying you. This being expressed by saying you just end up laughing in my face. The lyric dancing on my coffin shows he feels used. He states in the pre-chorus that he won't let down his partner. They tell him they are the rain and wind to the stars and sun. A beautiful lyric of their love, their connection, while also being a little emo, which is very fitting. He states they're in the greatest parade, this showing they're all marching together, rebelling, and being proud of who and what they really are. In the second verse, he states he's forgotten who he is, again speaking on the feeling of being lost through this album. He asks to be reminded by writing it in the sand, which is a soft reminder to show him who he is. He asks what's a life without meaning, if there's meaning at all, or are we just common believers in the fall, showing him question the purpose of life and if its meaning truly matters. The common believers in the fall shows people often follow what society promotes, even if those paths lead to failure. It is a reflection on doubt and the search for being authentic in a confusing world. Yungblud ends the song stating there's no tomorrow, just today, showing he is trying to live his best life every day as you never know when it can be your last. This is a very underrated track, banger all the way through. Change is about personal growth and rejecting the pressures to be what everyone else tells you to be. He opens the song speaking on past emotional wounds or betrayal, stating there are old daggers in his heart that still inflict pain. He sings won't you heal me with your pain, slip right into my rubber brain. He shows how being close to someone feels comforting and familiar, even if there's pain and hurt involved. He is inviting their pain into his mind because it'll make him feel understood and connected. In the pre-chorus, he describes a chaotic and intense relationship where both people are dealing with their own pain. He's expressing deep longing and attraction when he says wild-faced desire. Even with their problems, he shows that love can be messy and full of contradiction. In the chorus, he sings, I'm already shut in a shattered state, and I wish you'd stay in my life. He's expressing heartbreak, admitting that he's emotionally broken, a shattered state, and feels the absence of someone important, wishing they hadn't left because their presence gave him comfort. How I know every word that gets shouted and said about you, nothing ever goes. He's expressing how he's affected by criticism or drama surrounding someone he cares about and how these words stay in his mind. It shows the emotional weight of judgment or conflict. He ends the chorus saying, does that look like a good shot to you? Are you ready, boy? He's using imagery, possibly emotional or metaphorical. It suggests testing someone's courage, challenging them to face something difficult. In the second verse, he says nothing is better than change as it offers a fresh start. He states he will never forget his need for someone. He begins to learn that this person grows tired of him, a painful reality. He expresses the pain of a one-sided relationship as someone grows past him, questioning what they bring emotionally, feeling stuck even when he wants to move forward. He says, who do you really admire? Take it on the chin when all you wanted to do was just be a clown. He's speaking on the pressure of societies. This shows that people often hide their true selves, just be a clown, to gain approval, as well as having to deal with criticism, take it on the chin, in order to fit into expectations instead of being who they really are. This song ends with a great guitar solo. This song is super solid all the way through. Monday Murder is once more about rebelling against the pressures of a modern life while seeking freedom. He opens the song stating to lay down your guns, urging someone to let go of their aggression, doing so to reveal their true self, ever-efficient light, and embrace positivity instead of conflict or anger. He urges them to take their time and find their peace, a sleepwalk to the sunrise, a beautifully written lyric. In the chorus, he says Monday Murder, just another day to die, showing the dread of living every day, especially on a Monday, which is known to be the hardest day of the week. When he says to lay down English roses, it shows he is saying to spread peace and love, as English roses are a symbol of beauty and love itself. In the second verse, he uses explosive imagery to symbolize intense emotions. Letting go of built-up emotions or anger, freely expressing yourself even if it's a little bit dramatic. He says to sing your war song, let it all out, to lead to living a peaceful life. I think this is one of the most catchy underrated tracks on the entire catalog of Yungblud, even if it's pretty simple and to the point. Ghosts is so peak, guys, you have no idea. This is one of the strongest songs on the tracklist by far. The title Ghost relates to the subject matter heavily, as it speaks on haunting memories. This entire song has such great writing. He opens it by saying, I see the distant smoke across the waterway. He's using imagery to signal danger or conflict. The distant smoke basically is telling us that something troubling is approaching, while the waterway adds observation from a distance, showing he isn't really involved with this problem quite yet, but he sees it coming. He says, I'd swim 1,000 miles just to hear you say the words that never come when you need them the most to dry your eyes out. This is him speaking on empathy, showing he's willing to do a lot to comfort someone he cares about. It's about the pain of these emotions and his desire to be there to help with that pain and offer support when they feel they need it the most. He speaks on how family or an upbringing kind of shapes you as a person. He uses words or habits from their parents, such as your mother's tongue or your father's ghost, showing it can leave a lasting mark on someone, showing you become who you are through these moments. He speaks on criticism, abuse, how he endured it all even when he felt powerless. He says he rose up again, showing his resilience and strength. He sings, and you tried your best to surrender, bowed down your head. He's describing a moment of defeat, where someone is giving in to this pressure or pain, showing vulnerability and struggle. He ends the verse by saying you look up to the sky, showing a moment of prayer or speaking to a higher power in this chorus, in which he expresses a sense of awe. This beautiful scene symbolizes a moment of love, peace, and he refers to someone as his gateway to heaven, showing that they make him feel safe and alive. In the second verse, he shows that he is aware of the struggles of society, especially how young people's potential is being wasted. Underneath the dust suggests overlooked or ignored issues, and the curtain call shows a moment of truth. He says, to the hands of greed that will take it all and cut your heart out. He's criticizing those driven by selfish needs. Hands of greed represents those who take advantage of others, and cut your heart out symbolizes the emotional damage they inflict, showing how greed can steal humanity. The face in the shadow and the thread in the seams shows he is feeling small or overlooked, will be Ghost by Tomorrow shows mortality. Overall, it's about how life can feel almost dreamlike and how quickly moments and people can fade. He ends the verse with encouragement. He tells us as listeners to refuse giving in to what others need. He motivates us to take a stand, fight, and be ourselves. Keep pushing forward. But you'll rise up again and you'll fight against the surrender. My friends, don't wait. He repeats that they are his gateway to heaven before getting this absolutely insane orchestra, drum, guitar solo. It's some epic screams from Yungblud in between. It's such an impactful song, and this outro is truly brilliant. Fire is all about rebellion and intense passion. He opens the song asking if a girl would like to spend the day with him, stating they can run the world together, showing he believes in their ability together. The chorus is fun with him repeating fire with this punchy instrumental. He speaks to an empty boy, this being a numb person. He says violence is a choice, likely alluding to their anger when upset. He encourages them to play with their toys, meaning using their talents, shout through the silence, meaning to make yourself heard, even when you feel muted. The outro to the song has Yungblud asking why this person feels when they break through, and when they have nowhere left to hide and are forced to come out of their shell a little bit more. He reassures them that he has run most of his life from the same feeling, so he'll be by their side through it all. This is a short little banger that doesn't blow you away by any means, but it's solid. Then he hits us with Peak, because War is such an incredible song. He opens the song stating everybody loves the way you are, but you don't let them look inside you, do you? Showing the tension between the public and the private vulnerability. People may appreciate you at your surface, but he's pointing out that you hide your deeper emotions. You mask yourself to keep others from fully understanding who you are to protect your image. He says he wishes he could have been a better scar for someone, this showing he has a long-lasting effect on someone's life. He is a scar. He wishes it could have been a scar of growth or love rather than pain. He expresses that every attempt to communicate with this person feels wasted when the person he cares about isn't there. He uses a metaphor of bleeding to show the cost of loving someone, a sacrifice of emotional feelings through this connection. In the chorus, the incredible chorus, he says, I want to be a fake, I want to be a liar, I want to be the one to let you down. This shows self-sabotage and guilt, a fear of disappointing someone he cares about, showing a desire to push people away, possibly out of insecurity, even though it causes harm to this relationship. Covering up his face shows he is shy, hiding his true self even when trying to find motivation. This person disrupts his focus, leaving him conflicted. He ends the chorus saying he thought they were the same, showing he thought they'd think the same, but ultimately not. In the second verse, he confronts someone who takes pleasure in his pain. Beauty in the Fall shows the idea of finding meaning in moments of failure, but the second line questions this person's intentions, showing he feels betrayed. He speaks on rebellion and change, excitement to fight for something, but often losing hope and giving up. In the post-chorus, he states he is falling and soon to hit the ground, showing his lack of mental health at this point in time. He states he'll always let this person down. He ends the song the way he begins, stating, everybody loves the way you are, but you don't let them look inside you, do you? Just a brilliant song. Idols Part 2 is a continuation of Idols Part 1, if that wasn't clear. He critiques our idols, showing they're flawed, using the imagery of our idols being hung up on the wall, but the edges of their photos are correct. He questions if they're aware of their own faults and reality of their influence. This is a great lyric, showing that our idols do have flaws with these cracks. He uses imagery of wishing wells to signify our hopes and dreams being offered blindly, while showing the disappointment someone feels when these idols take advantage of their love for them. Never meet your heroes. In the pre-chorus, he reflects on isolation and obsession. Only the person living through it can truly understand the weight of their loneliness. Once you experience that feeling, there's no returning to innocence. It changes you forever, it creates you, it shapes you. In the chorus, he says you cannot erase the past, using the phrase can't vacuum the dirt off your heart to show this. However, by creating your own idols or dreams, you can use your imagination and talents to turn personal struggles into something inspiring. Find beauty in the pain. He goes on to describe how he struggles with setbacks. Falling and getting hurt represents life's disappointments. Drawing prison bars on your painted scars shows how we can often trap ourselves with our own insecurities. The last line, they'll see you the way that you are, shows that despite our attempts to mask our struggles, as he speaks on many times through this album, your true self and your flaws all break through and are shown to the world. You have to learn to have self-acceptance. This is a very important track on this album, even if it isn't one I return to too much. Supermoon is the finale to part 1 of this IDOLS record. This track is so powerful, especially as an outro. He opens the track speaking on how our actions can shape who we become, even if that can create patterns at times that we subconsciously create. Product of your own temptation shows us giving into impulses that can shape you and create a path, while live in your own imagination tells us escaping into creativity as a way to cope. It's all about your responsibility of shaping your own reality. He continues to describe someone whose life feels like a journey of their own making, full of self-imposed struggles or emotional turmoil, a self-inflicting odyssey. He asks what inspires them and reflects on trying to understand this person or himself. The final line of the verse says, maybe I'll remember you vaguely, showing him moving on, leaving this person or his past self and becoming somebody new, which has been the main objective through this journey of IDOLS. In the chorus, he sings Superman, Supermoon, referencing a larger-than-life symbol, Superman, and a supermoon, something that's insanely rare and inspiring to speak on big dreams. Idols, even. He speaks on how we often expect strengths from others without understanding them. He shows us that people judging us are just as confused about their lives as we are. Their opinions or comments shouldn't weigh so heavily on our lives. He ends this by saying not to be sad, a very simple yet uplifting message. On the end of this song, he also says, so alive when you're dead, feeling mostly alive only after being at an emotional low. The lyrics suggest a moment of awakening after this numbness, which is so brilliant after the message of feeling numb through this entire album. You finally found freedom and chose to move forward by the end of this journey. This song is so excellent, the instrumental hits so hard, and it's a very fantastic outro for this record, but that does lead us into part 2. IDOLS Part 2 begins with I Need You to Make the World Seem Fine. It begins the next chapter of songs for Yungblud. He opens the song speaking on the photos of the idols we have on our wall, how these idols rise and fall, showing that even when we look up to them, they eventually lose their image. He's urging us to stop hiding. Lift your head from the pillow. Stop hiding your emotions. Build yourself a wall shows they are missing out on life and genuine connections, continuing the main theme of the first half of this record. In the pre-chorus, he tells us to embrace who we are. The idea of no middle suggests that life often requires fully committing to who you are. Instead of resisting change, he tells you to accept it. In the chorus, there is a rocking instrumental where he says you need to make the world seem fine, to be his hope. This is like him speaking directly to one of his idols to give him that hope. In the second verse, he speaks on the pressure of having a good public image or a hero persona just to fit in. He suggests that people rush to keep up with trends, but in doing so, they lose who they truly are just to stay relevant or cool. This song's a banger, one of the stronger tracks on the entire track list, and especially on IDOLS too. The Postman is an absolute banger, super catchy, all energy. He opens the song describing a messy moment after an emotional night, suggesting intimacy for two people. The violets from the secondhand store shows an imperfect but genuine love. It might not be the most expensive perfect gesture, but it's real and out of love. In the chorus, he references his track Tissues from his self-titled album, where he literally requotes his own lyric, but done so much better this time around in my opinion. He uses metaphors to show he's waiting for answers or change, and that it never arrives. The package represents something being delivered, a message, but the postman passed out on the floor shows the communication wasn't there, leaving him confused and disappointed. He says today's their birthday, he'll celebrate by getting high, even saying it's a good day to die. This song is such a vibe, very fun listen with lots of very fun metaphors. Zombie with the Smashing Pumpkins. Alright, now nothing about this song changes lyrically, it just sounds horrible. I'm sorry, this song's so bad, and it's all on the Smashing Pumpkins. I am not a fan of this one at all, but I do think it being on the track list makes some sort of sense, as this record is about idols, and I'm pretty sure Yungblud idolizes the Smashing Pumpkins, even if they smashed this gem of a song. Derogatory. Time is a beautiful, deep, stripped-back track. He opens the track reflecting on leaving a relationship and feeling the weight of that choice. He suggests that maybe it ended too soon. Good love dies young. He's haunted by the possibility of what moving forward without turning back might do. That person could move on and build a life without him, end up getting married, leaving him with this feeling of what if. In the chorus, he states he just needs more time to find himself, figure out who he is supposed to be, not even knowing who he is or how he would feel in the morning. He claims this person says they don't mind him needing more time, but he questions if they truly mean that. In the next verse, he claims that time has passed. It's been 2 hours since he left his changing heart behind, showing that he immediately feels regret towards his decision and his uncertain feelings. He ends the verse saying if you remove someone, an angel, from their environment, the city, they can't be forced to fully flourish. Never make them fly. He suggests their presence will leave a lasting impression, keep you wondering the impact they will leave on you. This song's gorgeous, one of the strongest written in my opinion. War Part 2 doesn't fully create a new song, it adds to the original War track, almost like a remix. It opens with the same verse of the OG version of War. In the second verse, he expresses longing and concern for someone he cares about. Staying up all night shows he's obsessive and worries for someone to extreme measures. Dream of You Talking to God shows he's imagining their struggles, trying to relate and connect. He describes the sadness he feels, melancholic confession, and how his emotions circulate. Conversations going around. This shows his emotional pain that becomes a topic of attention, showing the tension between private emotions and his public image. He ends the verse using carnival imagery to represent fun distractions, things like lumber cars, merry-go-rounds. He says, I don't think it's enough time, showing his excitement can't feel the deeper emotional feelings he needs. He craves for something more meaningful. He further expresses his emotional turmoil, speaking on his self-destruction and the intensity of his thoughts that overwhelm him. This shows how pressure or anger can change your mind even if you don't want it to. He uses hero comes in the waves as a metaphor for moments of hope, empowerment. The questions he asks challenge the listener to reflect on whether they are truly living to the fullest. This is a fun little twist on the original version of War, although I do still enjoy the OG one a lot more. Blueberry Hill is a fan favorite on this tracklist, and for good reason. He opens the song talking about self-reflection. You may think you understand your emotions, but you're just repeating comforting words to yourself to justify your feelings. The taste of Blueberry Hill is a metaphor for nostalgia. It symbolizes comforting moments. When he says, I believe everything that you feel, shows he has a lot of trust in this person's feelings or beliefs, while also telling them to grow and realize they are young and enjoying life as much as possible. This shows the experiences are part of truly living and loving life, with Blueberry Hill as a symbol of innocent happiness. This is all about savoring the small, joyful moments that make life meaningful, especially during your youth. The instrumental is so great during the pre-chorus and matches up the lyrics perfectly. Gone by every old road, take me back in time, expresses nostalgia for the past, wishing he could revisit moments or places that kind of created and shaped who he is. Old road symbolizes memories that are now behind him. All my heroes on, heart is one with mind. This shows that getting strength or inspiration from the people he admires, heroes. The line heart is one with mind shows balance between emotions and thoughts. This is all about reflecting on the past and finding inner peace while acknowledging how experiences and idols have shaped his identity. In the chorus he says, and your screaming out your lungs won't let you down. This line captures passion and commitment, showing someone is giving their all and there is a promise of support or loyalty. Every day it feels like never-ending fun. This solidifies the feeling of youth, where life feels continuous and full of excitement. Though you've never been together, though you know you're so much better. This shows a connection that exists without an official relationship. Don't forget yourself when you come back around, as a reminder to stay grounded and true to yourself, even while caught up in excitement or a connection with others. In the second verse, he says, I won't ask you to tell me the truth, but I beg you to speak from the depths of yourself. He's expressing the desire for communication. He doesn't want to force honesty, but he longs for this person to reveal their true emotions. You know I would be useless without you shows emotional dependence, showing he is dependent on this person's well-being. In the bridge, he states he will always be with this person during his life, showing the weight they carry on him. On the outro, he says to go where nobody knows your name, a referencing to the opening track, Hello Heaven Hello, as well as the next lyrics literally ripping from the track Change. He asks what it is you seek. It is to last forever, to be someone, to be an idol. Suburban Requiem is the finale to this double album and it's fan-freaking-tastic. It goes through so much progression and hits incredibly hard. He opens the song with Slow Down, You Mad Enough to Have Figured It Out, which shows him questioning the rush of trying to figure life out, showing that even when someone is passionate or mad enough, they might need to slow down and reflect instead of forcing out answers. Longing for that stale ambition looking to be found describes a search for purpose, but the ambition feels stale, implying it's uninspired by society. Everybody knows they're special till they look around is him pointing out how others often feel important until they compare themselves to other people. Have You Closed Your Eyes Lately, Listen to the Sounds is a beautiful call to pause, reflect, and reconnect with yourself, showing the importance of being present during the chaos of life. This shows him speaking on the pressure to succeed and the need to slow down. In the pre-chorus, he says, don't hide, don't fight it, don't cry, no lying, urging someone to face their emotions honestly without putting up walls or pretending everything's fine. You know I'm going to be right here next to you in all the places you go, in the sunlight and the snow. This shows the support and loyalty that he brings in both the good moments, being sunlight, and the hard times, snow moments. You know I'm going to be right here next to you in every dream you try to be, every time you don't believe, shows his promise to stand by this person even through their self-doubt. The chorus starts off softer with these drowned out vocals before the drums and guitar come in, and his vocals empower us. It's triumphant, and he says it's Suburban Requiem, so stick around, and you'll begin to feel yourself lift off the ground. He describes an observation of a suburban life. You can rise above the limitations the world puts on you. When you were small, they called you useless. They took the laces from your shoes, likely speaking on childhood, where society ruined one's confidence. Taking the laces, removing the ability to move freely or take control. You never learned quite how to process, you saw their pain and you felt confused. He's pointing out emotions of growing up in a confusing environment, where the child absorbs others, struggles, but lacks the ability to understand or manage it, leading to a confusion within their own self. He further speaks on giving it time to find yourself, a common theme throughout these tracks. The chorus hits even harder the second time around, and this story concludes with such a moment of hope. It's seriously so epic and an incredible way to close out this chapter. So that is every song on IDOLS broken down for you. This story is very thematic, very focused. Every song sort of spreads a similar message, but it's so powerful and well done in my opinion. By far the best work of Yungblud's career, and I really hope he takes this and runs far with it. He has something special brewing with this IDOLS era, and I hope he only furthers his craft and is super delicate with it. He's very talented, beautiful soul, and this music is the type of music to impact and change lives. What did you guys think of IDOLS? What's your favorite tracks on this album? If you're new around here, leave a like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Buddy Cake, and I'm out. Peace.